Hello and welcome everyone to this week's episode of the Framework Podcast. I'm one of your two co-hosts, Jamie Hopkins, and I'm joined by my other co-host, Anna. And today we've got a very special guest with us here out in Omaha. And so we're shooting from Nellie's at the top of the Carson headquarters with the world champ here too, right? So that's exciting. And a Lakers fan, but it's a tough time for the Lakers right now. So and I know you like going by Bud mostly, or what's your favorite?
What's Bud or Terence? It don't matter which name they call me. It's the same thing to me.
Yeah, and I liked earlier you asked me what I did, and then I was like, well, what do you say you do to when people ask you, right?
Well, I just tell them, I'm a professional boxer.
Yeah.
Born and raised and bred from Omaha, Nebraska.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us here today. And one of the fun things we like to ask people at the start of the show is about food. Obviously, you've got to probably be more conscious of what you're eating and putting into your body. But do you have a favorite food item that's like your go-to thing?
Actually, my favorite food is pizza.
Yeah.
I've been a very big pizza guy coming up. I just always loved pizza, lasagna, pasta, I guess Italian food, I would say.
Do you like the runzas? Do you eat them at all?
No, I don't really too much eat runza. I take Godfather's over runza.
Yeah. So I had Godfather's pizza on Tuesday night. So yeah. What do you like on your pizza?
Just cheese right now.
Yeah.
Cheese and chicken. I ordered taco chicken salad.
Okay.
This is the second time pizza has come up on the podcast this week. Our CEO and founder, Ron Carson, actually said pizza and tacos.
Ours favorite.
Not together. We asked. We're like, well, what about pizza tacos? He was like, he drew the line there. He's like, no pizza tacos.
Yeah, you got to get it fresh because once it's sit, then the lettuce get all mushy and all that.
Yeah, that's true, and it's not good. Yeah. But we also like to tie in your first money memory. So tell us about your first money memory.
My first money memories?
Yeah.
I would say, like, what type of money we talking about?
I think anything. If it's like your first job, or like a lot of people like to talk about the first time they remember earning a paycheck, or anything that comes to mind. It's kind of free.
And some people, right? Like, I mean, coming from North Omaha, your first money memory is probably not a positive one, right? Like, it might be, but it might not be, and that's okay too, right? We try to see like, what was that first interaction with it? Because like a lot of mine are, right? Like my dad passed away when I was young, and I remember my mom raising us and struggling to pay bills and stuff, and that was more visual as a kid to me than there probably was some positive thing with money, but that's the stuff that I remember immediately.
Right. Yeah. Well, I would say first positive money memory was me having a paper route job with my uncle. And I was just, would go out there and run the papers out of the car and put them on the porch, and it was so cold. But, once the money came that Friday, I was happy, excited, like, oh, man, let's do it again. But doing the job, I eventually quit in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But, for them couple of weeks, it was cool while it lasted.
Yeah. Did you ever, what's the first like purchase you remember making that was like fun? Like
purchase of anything?
Yeah, anything.
I would say my house.
Yeah.
My house. That was the first purchase that I can actually be proud of. I think I was 26 years old, and I just bought it outright. And I was just like, man, I got my own house paid for at 26, and you would think a lot of people have 30-year mortgages and whatnot, and I just bought my own house paid for, and it's mine.
Yeah.
And I was proud of that.
Did you actually spend a lot of time trying to pick the house, or did you just kind of?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. So me and my realtor, we probably literally looked at like 30 houses, no lie, like this house, and I'm like, man, I'm getting burnt out, and I'm like, man, we had never find a house that, I really want. And we came across this house, and it was just like, all right, everything going perfect, because all the houses that we previously seen, like everything was good, and then it was just something that threw it off. You know, like the upstairs and the rooms was good, then the basement was off. The basement was good, but it didn't have no yard.
Yeah.
Man, like, it was like something. So when we came to this house, you know, we looking at everything going through the rooms and stuff, and I'm like, okay. And I was like, all right, the backyard is good. It got privacy fence. Everything is matching up. Let's go in the basement. I was kind of nervous to go down there, because I was just like, man, all the other ones, you know, either they had a good basement and the upstairs, the rooms were small. And then I went down there and I was just like, I'm buying this house. Let's do it right now. And they was looking at me like, you ready? I was like, this is it, you know. And I'm actually still living in that house currently till this day. You know, I'm in the middle of building a new house, but still living in the house.
When you know, right?
Yeah,
you made that connection with it. You had to have it. I like that. So I'm curious, and for our listeners too, about like your origin story as a boxer. Like, did you always know you wanted to do this professionally? Like, how did that happen when you were little? And tell us that story.
Well, I can actually say I was born to fight. You know, when I came out my mom's womb, I had my hands balled up and my hands up. You know, for all I can remember, I was always fighting somebody. You know, getting in trouble. You know, for fighting. I started boxing at the age of 7, so I started fairly young. My dad boxed, my grandpa boxed, my mom's brother boxed. So I got boxing on both sides of the family. My mom came up with boxers in the neighborhood, so it was always introduced to me, but wrestling was too, because my dad, he was more so into wrestling than boxing. My uncle that taught him how to wrestle was into wrestling more than boxing too, but they boxed like the Golden Gloves and stuff like that, but none of them ever took it to the next level and went professional. So at the age of 7, I got asked to box from a coach that my dad and them used to box in this gym. I didn't know who he was, so I went home, tell my mom some strange dude tried to talk to me, ask me
How
to
did that
box.
go?
You know what I mean? And it's crazy because he lived right behind my grandma, the house that we were staying at. So while I'm telling him the story, he's knocking on the door, and he come in the house, and everybody waving to him, speaking to him. I'm like, this the dude I'm telling y'all about. And then he was just like, hey, you want, you know what I mean, can your son box? I see him in the neighborhood, you know, fighting and stuff. My mom was like, yeah. She looked at me, you want to box? I was just like, yeah, I'll try it out, you know. And so started off, I was just wanted to spar. I just wanted to get in the ring and fight, you know. But I started getting in trouble with the coaches, not listening, just being, you know, bad, roguish, not listening. And I actually got kicked out the gym. You know, the coach was like, man, you got to go. You ain't listening. So he let me back in the gym, and I got kicked out again. You know, and I was just like, man, this coach don't like me, man. Forget boxing. So I went to basketball, football. I wrestled a little bit, you know, but I really too much didn't like wrestling because, you know, all the kids was, you know, better than me because they've been doing it since they was 2 and 3. So I always want to fight. Every time, you know, somebody get the best of me, I always want to fight. Even in basketball, even in football, I always want to fight. You know, my teammates, it didn't matter. So in 2002, they called me back. You know, they wanted me to come back to the gym and box. They like, man, hey, listen, man, you was good, you was talented, man. You should come back to boxing. I ain't boxing, dude. No, forget boxing. Like, I'm about to do something else. It's like, no. Like, come back to boxing. So when I came back focused. I was older. You know, I was more dedicated. And I think, you know, that's the best thing that happened to me, you know, is, you know, coming back at that time in my life where, I was more structured. So, yeah, I've been boxing all my life.
You talked about coming out of the womb ready to go too, right? Fist balled up, and I think your mom probably had to help you along with some toughness over the years, right? Like, did that play into your boxing? Just your mom's toughness also coming through with you?
Oh, definitely. My mom, man, she was the toughest person that I know that was on me, because it wasn't no, oh, baby, and this and that and this. My dad was in the Navy, so he left when I was 1 year old. He was always out to sea for 8 months, and when he do come in town, he in town for 2 weeks, and then he back gone. So my mom basically raised me and my two sisters, with my grandma and my aunt and stuff. So she was hard on me. It was like, you bad, somebody need to whoop you. You know what I mean? So she like, I go to fights and boxing tournaments, and she be like, oh, you ain't gonna do nothing but get your ass whooped. You know what I mean? I come back win. She be like, oh, they was weak, they was easy. I come back, I lost by 1 point or something. She be like, I told you. So it's just like, I'm fighting for her approval now. You know what I mean? So she can be like, all right, son, you did your thing, or, you know what I mean, you a good fighter. Like, I never heard none of that. So it was like me growing up, like, fighting approval point.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it built toughness, and it built mentally toughness as well.
So mental toughness, obviously, for any athlete, but especially for somebody who's got to go into a ring against an opponent, right? Because you've got your own things you've got to, go through and fight, but you're also going through somebody else, right? And so what's your, like, mental preparation for a fight? Like, what do you have to do beforehand to get ready?
Nothing. It's weird. It just come natural. The closer to the fight gets, the quieter I get, the more focus I get, the more I dial in to my opponent, because going through all those trials and tribulations when I was a kid, it taught me self-discipline, how to lock in and unlock my inner strength. You know what I mean? Like, okay, my mom said I'm gonna get my ass whooped. My mom doubted me, so I'm gonna prove her wrong, and I'm gonna make sure I prove her wrong. So you just lock in, like, you not beating me. Ain't no way you beat me. You know what I mean? But I gotta be focused. I gotta make sure I don't make too many mistakes, and I gotta make sure that I'm in the best shape possibly that I can be in. I always tell people, I don't really too much worry about my opponent. I worry about me and what I got to do to get better. So I know if I'm dropping my left hand in all my fights, I got to make sure I'm keeping my left hand up in practice so it comes natural when I'm fighting. And if I do that, then there's not going to be any weaknesses.
From a training standpoint, I know you said you go use the altitude. Has your training changed over the years too? Like, have you gotten better at it? Have you learned how your body changed? And is there anything that's like you wish you would have known earlier about training?
Of course. That's part of growth. You go through all those transitions and motions. Your body's always changing with age, and every training camp is harder than the previous because you probably up against a different type of challenge, and everybody coming for you. When you at the top, you got a bullseye on your back, and everybody want a piece of you, and you got to train extra hard, because they might see something in the last fight that they can capitalize on, and you got to make sure you tighten up. So things that I wish I would have known beforehand is more about nutrition, like drinking water to lose weight. Like back in the days, we starving ourselves, like not drinking water, eating for like 2 days, and you hurting your body more than you helping it. So more so of dialing into nutrition. I wish I would have knew that better.
And in terms of like coaching, like what roles have your coaches played? Because I know Jamie always writes about the importance of having coaches and how really great athletes and really great professionals have a ton of coaches. So talk to us a little bit about the importance your coaches have played in your life and the role that they've played in your career.
Oh man, my coaches saved my life. I always tell people like, the late great Midge Minor, my coach, he passed. He the one that started us off and whatnot. He coached us all. Mm-hmm. All my coaches now, he coached us all. We all team, and they converted to be my coaches and whatnot. And it's very important to have a coach that cares about you, because going down the road that I was going on, I was talented, but I was still in the mix of being around bad people, doing bad things, and getting in trouble. And he would come and get me from school, because if he didn't, I wasn't going to the gym. Or he'd be at my house waiting on me when I get home from school and then get off the bus, so I didn't leave. So having a person like that and to grab you and be like, all right, well, you talented, I'm going to make sure you make it, because I'm telling everybody you're going to make it, but I'm going to make sure you make it. So, without that, I don't know how my life would have, shaped, And not only that, he used to just make me watch boxing. Till now, like, if I go home and I study, I'll fall asleep. Because I watch so many hours and hours and hours of boxing before the gym. I was the first one in the gym, the last one out, because he was opening up the gym and he was locking the gym up. So, by the time I get home, all I'm doing is eating, shower, and going to sleep, and then tomorrow wake up, do the same thing again. My coaches now, like, anytime, I'm going through things or I need help or anything, they always there. So it's very important to have coaches that care about you, that's there for you when times get hard, or, when they see, that you're going through things, to, make it to where you're more comfortable in a situation. They know me from the palm of my hand to the back of my hand. So I can come in the gym and I could be giggling and laughing, but they'll look at me and be like, all right, that's a fake laugh or something like that. Like, pull me to the side and be like, you all right? And I'll be like, yeah. Like, nah, you ain't all right, but is you all right? So, it's good to have people that knows you around you.
I had a coach for a while that used to pick me up to make sure I went to practice too, and I don't think at the time I appreciated that either, right? Like, I know it was somewhat helpful, but I wasn't, like, you look back and you're like, they were really not just going out of their way to help you in your sport, but kind of in life, right? Like, it was actually kind of like watching out for you, because same thing, like, I just wouldn't show up to practice, so the coach would show up and make sure I was there. Do you think that one day you want to take back on that role and coach, or you haven't thought that?
Well, I coach right now.
Yeah.
I think it's just a natural instinct. When I come in the gym, and like yesterday, I was in the gym and I was helping the little kids out. I helped the professional fighters out. I just got a thing for, if you're doing it wrong, let me correct you. Mm-hmm. Especially if you're in the gym, with me, or the gym that I own, or, just a little kid that's trying to get better. I'm a big, firm believer of each one teach one, so if I teach you, then you can teach another fighter, and, everybody can get better at the same time.
Yeah. Well, you said you fall asleep watching boxing sometimes now, but do you have a favorite all-time fight that you've watched a bunch of times?
Not really.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, like, boxing makes me go to sleep. Like, I don't care. You can ask my mama, you can ask my sisters, you can ask my girl. Like, I'll be wide awake. And I'd be like, man, I can't go to sleep. They'd be like, you better go watch some boxing. It could be the most exciting fight in the world. Yeah. And I'd just get to watching it about the third, fourth round. I'd be like, I don't know what it is. Yeah. Maybe just my body just feels so calm and relaxed while I'm watching fights.
What are some of your favorite athletes? I know you mentioned Kobe before we got on, but is that and why was Kobe? I mean, besides the fact that he's a great Laker, but
his work ethic. Yeah. You know, when you look at Kobe, when you look at Tiger Woods, you know, when you look at Michael Jordan, when you look at their work ethic, you know, even LeBron, you know, that's why they great. When you look at Floyd Mayweather, that's why he's great, because he worked hard on season, on off season. You know, a lot of people think, you know, it's just talent. No, but they had to work to get to where they at now. Why you think they perfected and they still working? You know, so that's why I like those athletes, because, you know, for you to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning before everybody sleep, work out, then you know you got another workout, you know, at 8 o'clock, you know, that's dedication. You know, and I'm a very dedicated person to the sport. So, you know, I can relate to those type of things.
It seems like you have the similar work ethic when you describe your training and things like that. But I'm curious to hear your advice on, like, getting over some mental hurdles or some, you know, negative mindsets that might kind of, because I'm sure you experience that. Like, you don't want to go to the gym at 4 a.m. You don't want to do sometimes, but you have to push yourself past that point. What are some, like, tricks or tips or things that you use in those moments where that happens, if it happens?
It goes through everybody's mind. I don't care who you is, what you do. You know, you always have those negative thoughts. Like, man, what if I get knocked out? What if I lose? What if I get hurt? You know what I mean? What if I'm not good enough? You know, you always gonna have those doubts in your mind. But you know what I mean? Me personally, I always say you create what you think. You know, I battle my mind all the time. When I start having those negative thoughts, I start thinking positive thoughts. Like, you is the best. You gonna beat this dude. Like, he not gonna knock you out. Like, you know, you start, you know, reversing your thoughts, your train of thoughts to positive thoughts. You know, and then when you do that, then you still working. Like, don't get down on yourself. You uplift yourself. Like, you know, I am great. You know, I am the best. I am going to win. I am going to succeed. You know, and you just work even harder. When you start getting those negative thoughts and all those negative vibes, you know, you just be positive and just go even harder, you know, and just show yourself, you know, that you can do what you might have couldn't do last week. You might have couldn't run the mile in, you know, 8 minutes, but now you're doing it in, you know, 7:59. So, you know, you always want to work a little bit harder.
Do you like running?
No. No.
That's why I was interested you brought that up, but I was like, you know, that might be one of those mental hurdle ones, right?
No. I run because I have to.
Yeah.
You know, and to get my legs, get my body in shape, get, you know, my oxygen flowing. You know, everything I do it because, you know, it's the greater of good for myself and my career. So the things that I don't like or I don't enjoy doing, I make myself enjoy doing it. You know, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. You know, that's what I always tell, you know, my teammates and stuff like that. Like, I don't like to swim. You know, I like to swim to have fun, but, you know, doing all these laps and stuff like that while I just got done working out, I don't want to do that stuff. Like, sometimes I'll just be like, man, Bo, I'm tired, man. I ain't. And Bo look at me like, come on, man. I'll be like, man, no. And he'd be like, man, why I got to argue with you to be great? I'll be like, man, you right. Let's go. But when I'm doing it, you know, I'm knocking it out.
Yeah.
You know, but, like, it's just the start of it. Like, you know, you be all down and stuff and you don't want to do it. And then it's just like, all right, now I'm doing it, so might as well get it done with.
Yeah. You've obviously won a lot of matches. Do you have one where you kind of knew that you'd reached a different level?
Not really. To be honest, I always knew how good I was. And I know the people around me knew how good I was. It was just proving it to myself, you know, in the world. Like, when you go against a fighter like Sean Porter, like Amir Khan, you know, those are champions, you know, multiple times, you know, that the world acknowledge, you know, that the world, you know, looks at as, you know, a champion, a good fighter. You know, not only them, like a Gamboa. He was on the pound-for-pound list. He was perceived to be the next biggest star in boxing, you know, and to be guys like that, you know, you look back and you be like, man, this dude was this dude was this, and I knocked him out. Like, so that tells you a lot about yourself in the same token that it tells you about them as well.
Yeah. And you're from Omaha, born and raised here, and giving back to Omaha and, you know, revitalizing areas. I know you've got your shop there too, right? And so what is the, I mean, I guess, what do you kind of hope for Omaha moving forward? What things would you like to see happen here, and what are ways that you're giving back today?
Well, I would like to see, you know, my community come together and stand with each other instead of divide apart. You know, when you look at Omaha as a city, I would say it's always divided because everybody's in competition with each other. You know, nobody want to help each other out. Nobody want to support each other because they want to do the same thing, or they mad because they not where they want to be at in life, so they want to bring you down to where they at because either they knew you, either they grew up with you, or either they was once, you know, here and you was once there, and they just can't accept the fact that you've grown and they stay the same. So my ways of helping my community out is, you know, my nonprofit organization, B&B Boxing Academy. You know, it's a great facility for kids to come and learn how to box, you know, even train for health. It's a wrestling program right in the same building. You know, it's just giving back in a way where they don't have to pay anything. You come there, you know, you learn how to train, you learn how to box, and, you know, there's not a lot of gyms that you can go to and it's free.
Yeah.
You know, it's free. Like, when I say free, you just come as you is. You know, now you might have to pay for your own mouthpiece and headgear and stuff like that, gloves if you want your own. But, you know, yeah, it's a place where, you know, you can call home if, you know, you don't have a home, because everybody gonna treat you like family there. You know, it don't matter the race, it don't matter the color, it don't matter, you know, the size. You know, everybody is welcome at B&B Boxing Academy. And also, you know, me developing, you know, places for, you know, my community to stay. You know, I'm in a real estate. I'm building a couple of apartment units and stuff like that around North Omaha. So that's a little bit of, you know, what I'm doing right now.
I love that. I love that work that you're doing. And, like, as you know, a lot of people who want to do that work, that in itself is a fight, right? You said you came out wanting to fight and ready to go, wanting to change your community or provide positive things for them in a way. That's kind of a fight in itself, you know, and there are a lot of people out there engaging in that kind of work and kind of maybe might get discouraged sometimes. What's your advice to people wanting to do community work who might feel that kind of discouragement?
Man, I would just tell them, just get out there and do it. You know, can't worry about what the next person think of you or what they're gonna say. You got to do it for you, and you know what's in your heart. Like a lot of people, they want to do stuff for likes and you know social media attention, or because of this person doing it, and successful, they want to do it just to you know be like that person. But I just tell people, just be you. If it's not something that you really desire to do, then don't do it, you know, because it's not going to be genuine. Now, if you was to do something that you love doing and that is in your heart to do, then, you know, you'll be better off doing it, because you'll give your all. Your energy levels will be higher than it would be if you was just like, oh, got to do this again, you know. So that's all I would tell them.
Is there, I guess, do you have goals that you've still set that, you know, like what's the next big goal for you?
The next big goal for me actually is to become welterweight undisputed champion. That's my only goal right now.
Yeah.
You know, I set goals at a time. Like all my real estate properties and, you know, my house properties and that stuff, yeah, them goals for after boxing, you know, but currently there's only one goal on my mind, and that's becoming undisputed in the welterweight division.
Yeah. So it's just a win now, right?
Yeah, just one win. To fight the winner out of next week's fight.
Yeah.
So.
Will you fall asleep in that one watching it?
Nah.
Yeah. You'll pay attention to that one, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. But it has been times I didn't fell asleep over on live fights. Yeah. Like not in a live boxing match, but like it was going on.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Gotta sit up and be like, man. So. Yeah.
Have you had a favorite place to fight, or does that not even really come into your mind?
Nebraska, hands down.
Yeah.
Hands down. Nebraska, I like Vegas, I like New York, but there's no place like home.
Yeah.
There's no place like home. Like, I don't, like, the level of energy that Nebraska brings, you know, is second to none. Like, it's number one.
Yeah. Well, Ron would be happy about that. He calls this the center of the universe here, so he'd probably agree with you on that.
Then, on top of that, you get to fight and you home. You don't got to worry about leaving. You don't got to worry about catching no planes. You can go home and get in your bed. And it's like, because it's like draining. Fight week is draining. You losing weight. You doing interviews. You doing this. You doing that. And then you getting ready for a fight. And then you get to fight. And now you get a fresh breath of air, and he's like, you relax, like, all right, it's over with, you know what I mean? Wow. You know everybody about to start, you know, hounding you, and it's just like, okay, like, let me just go home and just relax and just, you know, be with my family and just, you know, enjoy this victory.
Do you have a, like, post-fight ritual of stuff you like to do, too? Like, do you go eat something after all that week of cutting weight? And no.
Get in a hot Epsom salt bath.
Yeah.
Get in a hot Epsom salt bath and just relax.
Yeah.
Post-fight, that's it. Relax.
Yeah.
You know, because your body go through these transformations to where, you know, you cutting all this weight, and then now you weigh in, now you get to hydrate. You know, and now, you know, even after that, you get to eat whatever you want to eat. You know, you might have a victory meal and whatnot, and now you just like, all right, now my body going through this water transfer where you sucking all the water out of you, and now you putting all the water back into you, and now your body just sore because it's bloated. Yeah, you know, and so you just want to relax.
Earlier you said it was like fight weeks are draining, you're cutting weight, doing all these things, but what are some things that kind of, our coach Sarah Kane, she talks a lot about things that drain your battery and things that refill them. I'm curious to hear about some of the things that refill your battery that keep you going.
Greens, green foods, you know, that's the energy. You know, a lot of people think meat is is the key for energy, but I don't eat beef or pork.
Mhm.
You know, the green smoothies, the green drinks, and you know the kale, the 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 quinoa, like just greens, spinach, all of it. You know, it gives you energy.
Well, we also like to ask on here about like legacy, and obviously you said, not done yet, but have you thought about the legacy you want to leave in this world?
Well, I just want to leave the legacy that coming from Omaha, Nebraska, being the first fighter from Omaha to actually do what I've done,
Mm-hmm.
in the professional field in boxing, that is possible. It's possible. Like, they never gave me a shot. Nothing was easy. Like, I was always uphill, going uphill. Never was on an even playing field. So my work ethic and never giving up and, fighting for what I believe in is what led me to, get to the top. And, I just want my legacy to be, you can make it from anywhere. And, as long as you stay true to yourself. Like, I could have easily moved to Nevada. I could have easily moved to New York or Philly or anywhere. I had a manager that was trying to move me to Vegas and around the world to box. And I told him, no, I'm going to stay right here. This is where I'm from. I'm going to make it from Omaha, Nebraska. And nobody believed me.
Yeah.
But my team. Nobody believed me. If I would have told you, in 2008 when I turned pro, March 1st, I'm going to be champion of the world from Omaha, Nebraska, you probably would have looked at me like, yeah, okay. You probably would have like, all right, that's a good, way to put it,
Yeah.
Nice energy, but let's see. But in the back of your head, you probably like, man, that boy ain't gonna. And that's how they treated me.
Yeah.
Because going to tournaments, you would see Nebraska as a state, Midwest, not Midwest, because a lot of great fighters come out of Midwest, but Nebraska as a state will get wiped out the first day. All the tournaments, it'd be like two of us.
Yeah.
Me, Rosendo, or me and, another fighter that looked up and won his first fight or got a bye. But they knew I was winning. They're like, oh, yeah, got to watch out for that black boy right there. From Nebraska. They start calling me Nebraska.
Yeah.
Hey, Nebraska, what's up with it? Because they were so familiar with me winning tournaments or placing in the top 2, top 3 in the tournament. So it's just like, now you getting your recognition, your respect, because it's like, all right, he ain't like everybody else, but all the other people, not all of them, they just knew, they was gonna have a fight on their hands when they fought me.
Yeah.
So I just want my legacy to be, positive, somebody that, looked out for the kids, somebody that stand on what he believed in, and, he was a great fighter as well, but he was a great father. He was a greater father than he was a fighter, so I want to be judged by the overall me, not just in one dimensional in boxing.
Yeah, that's so we had Darryl Green on, the Hall of Fame football player, cornerback, Washington. There's a fast guy in the NFL for a long time, and that was the most powerful thing he said to me. He goes, I want to be remembered as Darryl Green, great father, great man, and oh, by the way, he played football, right? He's like, I don't want to be defined by the fact that I played football. I want to be defined by all the other things that I ended up doing in life. And I thought that was just a really interesting thing because, that's how, most people probably look at him and just think football first. And he's like, but that's really not who I am. It's something I did so I could do the other things in my life. And that's that conversation stuck with me since then. He actually got it from the owner at the time, Jack Ken Cook, he said, everyone just talked about him being a businessman. He had this realization. He's like, there's probably more to him than that, but that's all people said about him. And so I think it's kind of a helpful thing. I think as we move through life, right? Are we doing the other things well too? And the Nebraska thing, my wife and I were looking at moving here, and it was the same week. Do you know what the slogan here, like the tourism slogan is in Nebraska now?
No.
They changed it like 3 years ago.
It's not for everyone.
Yeah, it's Nebraska. Honestly, it's not for everyone.
So it's not. What was it called? We don't coast.
Yeah, that was it for a while, right? That
like
we don't
that.
coast, right? 'Cause we have no coastlines or whatever. Yeah. And then they did the honestly, it's not for everyone, and I thought that was kind of funny too.
Yeah, it's not. It's
Yeah.
not, and I love it here. Because I mainly because I'm a laid back type of guy. Like I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't party and stuff like that. So, when a lot of people come to Omaha, they be like, "You live here? There's nothing to do here. Like, what is there to do here?" I'm like, "Man, it's a lot to do here. Like, what do you like to do besides party?" You know what I mean? Well, y'all don't got amusement parks and this and that. I like, well, how many times you gonna go to an amusement park out the year? If you got amusement park in your city, you didn't rode on all the rides already. You know where everything got. Like, would that ever get boring to you? Like, I would rather have it in Kansas City or somewhere where I could take a trip and be like, all right, let's go have some fun, and then come back and relax at home or do whatever we want to do at home. I'm a real, like, outdoor type of guy. Like, I like to fish. I like to camp. I like to hike. I like to do those type of things, see the wildlife.
Yeah. Well, we have, there's a lodge that they have here, too, and it's, when people say there's nothing to do up there, it's, beautiful when you go north in Nebraska, too, right? And I got to spend some time up there, but that's, so peaceful, too, right? Like, you're away, you actually see stars, stuff like that, because I live in Philly. You don't see stars anymore. You try to explain stars to kids. They're like, no, that's not a thing. Like, there's nothing up there.
Yeah. Come to, the country somewhere. Be like, Daddy, Mama, what is those things in the sky? Yeah.
Well, let's say you have a house in Colorado, then you get to see the second center of the universe, right? The most beautiful state in the world.
Yeah, Colorado, beautiful. Yeah. Colorado,
lots of outdoor
beautiful.
things. And you could go to Leeches too, right? All the rides in Denver.
Yeah, definitely. I love Colorado Springs for the simple fact that it's so peaceful, and it's just, it makes you happy to wake up in the morning. I'm right in the mountains, so wake up and you're looking at the mountains and, you're looking at the clouds, and it's just like the air is clear, and you just take a breath of air and just like, and you're just like, man, this is life.
Yeah.
You watch a little bear walk through your yard, and you're like, man, that's a bear. Like, is you serious?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just crazy, the wildlife. You wake up, the deer's in your yard, and it's just like, dang. Like, some people will get nervous because the bears is, bears at the end of the day. But to me, that's tight. I'm like, man, it ain't every day you get to wake up and see a black bear walking through your yard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
you gotta be careful with those bears, though. They're getting smarter. You see the videos of them opening doors and looking through cupboards.
Listen, true story. I swear, no lie. So we was coming back from the gym. I seen a bear in the street and I chased it.
Is that part of your training?
I chased it with my car. Swear to God.
Oh, okay, you weren't running up.
No, I chased it with my car because I was trying to get close to it so I can get a better picture. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But those bears is fast. You know what I mean? You be amazed how fast them bears is. Them bears be gone. So we all laughing and stuff, and they like, man, you better leave them bears alone. I was like, man, I was trying to get up on it. You know what I mean? So we go to the house. Now it's time to go back to the gym. We left the garage door open because sometimes we just leave. So we had some spaghetti and we had some other food in in a freezer in the ice box because we got 2 ice boxes because it'd be a lot of fighters, so you need 2 ice boxes. So we come home, all the food and stuff is on the ground, but it's bear prints on a refrigerator.
Spaghetti pop.
So the spaghetti was gone, but all the other food, it was like he was tasting it like, man, I don't want this. I don't want this. The spaghetti, he was like, oh, now this is good. And then right when he come outside of the garage, the garage, it was a big old massive dump. So like he probably just ate it like, it was like we all was dying. Like that's what you get for chasing that bear that morning. It was like, man, that's crazy. I wish we would have had the camera on. Yeah. But yeah, they smart. They smart.
Yeah, don't chase the bear. He'll come eat your food and leave you a present.
Yeah, he definitely did. He definitely did. I swear to God.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Oh, well, I think that's the best possible way to end a show is on a bear story, eating spaghetti or taking a dump. But, I really appreciate, everything you're doing for Omaha and the state of Nebraska and boxing and giving back. And, now just got to, get through that last piece and become undisputed. And, that'll be amazing. So it's going to happen.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So
given the opportunity, it's going to happen.
Yeah. But, thanks for spending time with us. We really appreciate it. I know you've got training and other things to do. So when you take time out of your life to spend it with other people, it's always a beautiful thing. So I want to thank you for that.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. And Anna, thanks for, doing all the work and research and all those things like you always do. And, thank you for everyone else for listening to this week's episode of the Framework Podcast.